In 2018, Nintendo started selling sheets of cardboard for $70. Do you remember that? It was called Nintendo Labo. It came a year after the Switch launched, and it was supposed to be like this new big thing that nobody's ever done before from Nintendo. It was supposed to be like a toy of the future, really, and people hated it.
Nintendo Labo.
Something about me is that I'm a really big sucker for any gimmick a product could have. If it lights up, if it makes noises, if it moves, if it talks to you, anything like that, and I'm tickled pink, to be honest. I love that shit. This is something that I constantly have to remind myself of and keep on my mind anytime I'm shopping for anything. Anytime I want to buy something, I have to ask myself, are you just being fooled by a gimmick? Sometimes the answer is yes, and then I don't buy it. Sometimes the answer is yes, and then I buy it anyways. As long as I can make that assessment first, it doesn't feel so bad if I am disappointed by something like that. But 8 years ago, when Nintendo Labo came out, I didn't know that about myself. The Nintendo Switch was the first tech product I'd ever followed from announcement to all the hype about it, all the way up until the day it came out, and then I got one immediately. I'd never done that with a game console or an iPhone or anything before. And looking back now, it makes perfect sense why I did it with that one. It's the most gimmicky machine, it feels like, any company's ever made ever. From the very first time Nintendo revealed the product to the world, they were doing everything they could to show you all the tricks this thing could do. The remotes can come off of it, and you can put it in this thing, and then it'll play on the TV, but then you can take it out of that thing, and you could just play it handheld, walking around in your bed and whatever, and it's got a kickstand on the back of it, so you could put it on a table, and then just use the remotes broken off of it to play it, and you can turn the controllers on their sides, and share one with another person and play two-player. It's amazing. Yes, I hear you. Isn't this a video about the Smart Brick? Yes, it is. I'm sorry if you don't care about this Mario bullshit I'm talking about. For something as confusing and controversial as Smart Play is proving to be, I really grappled and had to dig deep to figure out how I felt about it and how I could relate it to things I've seen before. I love video games, and in 2017, Nintendo told me they were going to make a bunch of changes that were going to make me love video games even more. And it worked. I love Lego. And in 2026, Lego is telling me they're going to make a bunch of changes and I'm going to love Legos even more. But it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work. Because I bought Nintendo Labo. I was fooled by the good faith Nintendo earned with me when I bought my Nintendo Switch the first day it came out. It had lived up to any and every expectation I had for it. It felt like every promise they made to me in all the marketing beforehand, when I finally got my hands on it, it was all there. It was incredible. After a year of having a Switch to myself, Nintendo started talking about this thing called Labo. And they're talking about it in the same way they were talking about the Switch. How this was something completely new. How this was going to add an element to play like I never even knew there could be before. So I took zero convincing. I loved my Switch wholeheartedly. The only thing I wanted to change about it was for there to be more magic about it for me to discover. And that seemed like exactly what Nintendo was saying Labo was going to do. I had complete faith that I would be satisfied with my purchase. I pride myself in my ability to not take myself too seriously. If Nintendo says I could have fun playing with a bunch of cardboard, I'll go ahead and try it and have a good attitude about it, and hopefully I do have fun playing with a bunch of cardboard. I'm not above playing with a bunch of cardboard. I'll spare you the rest of the details about my experience with Labo, but what's important for this story today is that it ended up sucking. It sucked. I know. That's shocking, right? The $70 box filled with cardboard sheets, it was garbage. I bought garbage and it sucked. I spent 3 hours building this fucking cardboard piano, instruction by instruction, fold by fold, And the whole time I did it with a smile on my face, excited for how I was going to play with it afterwards. I thought this could be really good. And when I was finished and I tried it, it fucking sucked. There was no magic. There was no innovation. There was just a cheap gimmick that I paid an insane price for. That experience with Nintendo Labo really burned me, and I never forgot it. And informed pretty much every purchase I made since. That's never benefited me more than I think it has today with LEGO Smart Play. This is LEGO Smart Play. It's described by LEGO as, quote,
our biggest innovation since ... ever.
When I first read that, a month or two ago, I thought, seems like this is your biggest innovation since LEGO Mario. The technology in LEGO Mario is very similar to the technology in LEGO Smart Play. But after having hands-on experience with LEGO Smart Play, I don't think that anymore. This is not an innovation on LEGO Mario. This is worse. It's hard not to compare the Smart Brick to LEGO Mario. They both try to combine technology with LEGO to enhance the way somebody's going to play with LEGO. I do not like LEGO Mario. This is something I have accepted and am at peace with. LEGO Mario himself is a very unique creature. It's not that technology has been combined with a LEGO minifigure to make LEGO Mario. Instead, LEGO Mario is a completely original thing. He's not a minifigure, he's his own species, really. The only thing that's like LEGO Mario is LEGO Luigi and LEGO Princess Peach. There's not really a compromise being made by integrating that technology with LEGO Mario. LEGO Mario just looks like that. That's what they made him look like. Let's compare him to the new LEGO Smart minifigure. A LEGO minifigure that's then combined with NFC technology, and the result is this kind of mutant thing. Not that LEGO Mario isn't also a mutant, but there's good mutants and there's bad mutants. At first glance, this is a regular Darth Vader minifigure, but after you spend a little bit of time with him, you start to notice some stuff. You start to notice this jargon of text and a trash can printed on the sides of him. And you start to notice he doesn't have a back print, he has a little Smart Play logo there instead. And you start to notice that for some reason he has a half cape like a hobbit instead of having a full cape. And quick note on that short cape, it isn't really clear right now as a recording why they gave all the Smart minifigures short capes. It seems like the most popular theory is to minimize any obstruction that the Smart Fig could have with the Smart Brick when it's trying to read it. Even if that is their real reasoning for doing it, doesn't make sense because the half cape is still covering the logo just as much as a full cape would, and the brick can read through the cape just fine. After getting my hands on this stuff myself, I think they were trying to make it as easy as possible to sit a minifigure in the cockpit of like a TIE fighter or something. I think they wanted that to be as quick and seamless as possible for you so you could pull your hand away faster and be ready for when the Smart Brick reads that that fig is there and is going to play your Darth Vader sound. A fig with a full cape can sit down no problem. It might be a little bit harder because you have more fabric that you've got to make sure is out of the way before you try to connect the studs there. So, maybe they are saving 1 or 2 seconds by having a half cape. Was him looking stupid worth the compromise so he could sit down faster? I feel like no. That's kind of the overall theme with every criticism about LEGO Smart Play. Is it worth having ugly text and a literal trash can printed on the fig if it means that you can jam an NFC chip in there? Is it worth removing the entire back print of a fig and replacing it with a Smart Play logo so you can easily identify what's a Smart Fig and what's not? I guess that's up to each individual person that gets their hands on this and plays with it to decide. But spoiler alert, for me personally, the answer is pretty much always no. None of this seems like it was worth the compromise. The figs suck. That's something we're pretty used to, unfortunately. Something else that we're pretty used to is the design of a set being compromised in favor of playability. It's a classic debate you'll run into online anytime you make a criticism about how a set looks, how it's designed. You'll always hear shouted at you, well, at the end of the day, this is a kid's product for kids. Now, ignoring that take is assuming that every kid that wants Legos wants them so he can mash them together and play with them like a caveman. And there's no kids out there that like Legos because they like collecting them and displaying them on their shelves. The play part of Smart Play, it doesn't do anything special, and in my experience, it doesn't even work half the time, or at least doesn't work as intended. When you put the Smart Brick on its TIE Fighter tile, and it begins to do its flashing thing, sensing if you're putting stuff there. So that's the sound of it being repaired. It stops and gives you a little complete sound. When I had this in the actual build itself, and I would pull the hammer away, it would not stop. It would continue to go ding, 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 infinitely. It would not stop. It would just keep playing for as long as it would go. And the only way I could stop it was to lift the TIE Fighter up and trigger the flying sounds, which would cancel out the hammer sound. Same thing happened for the gas tank. I wanted to really, make sure it wasn't just me being stupid or me doing something wrong. I thought there had to be something I wasn't doing right. But I really do think it doesn't work. I could excuse this if you can update the Smart Brick maybe. There's an app that goes with it. It's not out at the time of recording this because this is before it's released.
Hi. It's March 1st, so the Smart Brick app is out and available. I registered my Smart Brick with it. It says on there that it says on the app that it is up to date. It looks like you will be able to update the Smart Brick as time goes on, but it's up to date right now. So this is how it's supposed.
Why did they take all the dyes out of Fruit Loops? Dyes gone.
I looked in like the troubleshooting guide. Under my Smart Brick isn't responding to movements or smart tags. That's kind of the problem I'm describing. It says the brick might need to be updated. Sometimes when we release new sets, we include new features for the brick with new tags and minifigures that it needs to be updated to work with. Kind of a run-on sentence there. Check our step-by-step guide on updating your Smart Brick here. So that's just saying in the future, when there are updates, or I guess when the Smart Brick can do new things, update it that way. But then I also found just added right at the end of that section a bullet point that says, the brick doesn't work well if it's super close to the charger and the charger is plugged in. Put the charger at least 1 meter away and the brick should work just fine. My charger was in a completely different room in my footage that you saw, but it was on a desk with a lot of electronics that were plugged in and powered on, and if something just like the Smart Brick's charger could interfere with it, like why couldn't like a PlayStation 5 or I don't know, a fucking fridge or any of the chargers I use for anything else like be a I don't know. That's weird. Isn't that weird?
Why are you working on the other video?
Well, this is what's relevant right now.
Yeah, we recorded the other one 2.5 weeks ago, and it's still not out.
But like a convention video, you can kind of put out whenever. It's kind of
not
like
a convention
timeless.
video. I didn't go. It's not a convention video.
It's a video about the convention. We talk all about the convention in the video.
You should wrap this up and get out of my house.
Debatably, the biggest problem Smart Play has brought with it is the way it's affecting the physical design of how a set looks. This TIE Fighter, it has to accommodate for a 2x4 brick to be easily placed and removed, and there needs to be ample room around it for the sensor to be able to do its thing. Making that accommodation while also ensuring you have a good-looking build that is also very sturdy, because it's intended for rougher play than a normal Lego set would be. It seems like it's not a balancing act that can really be pulled off, or at least they haven't done it here with this initial release. The entire back half of the ship is missing. It looks like a flatbed truck. Like, it looks like a Ford F-150 you drive past on the highway. And it's not helped by this weird, like, red design language that they included here to, I don't know, to highlight where you're supposed to put the brick maybe or something. It just makes it really stick out, especially on a set that's modeled after something that is supposed to be completely gray and black. All of this really might be okay if this was a supplementary product, but it really isn't. The entire March 1st, 2026 wave of LEGO Star Wars sets is all Smart Play. This isn't like when we would get 1 or 2 junior sets or 4+ sets tacked onto a wave of otherwise, standard sets. This is the complete thing. There's no other option but this here. Another quick aside, something that's confusing about Smart Play. The entire wave, this entire first wave of this stuff, it's all original trilogy. It's all original trilogy themed. If you don't know Ball, if you aren't familiar with this meta, original trilogy, episode 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars, the first Star Wars movies that came out, the oldest ones, the ones that are most popular with an older generation that grew up with them. The bigger and more expensive a Star Wars set is, it seems like the more likely that set is to be an original trilogy set. Why? Probably because the older a LEGO consumer is, the more money they probably have that they're willing to spend on LEGO. And so the older a person is, the more likely they are to be an original trilogy fan. So the bigger the set, the more expensive the set. Let's cater it towards the people with more money that are obviously going to buy a more expensive set, and those people happen to like the original trilogy. People around my age, they sit more aligned with the prequel trilogy, episodes 1, 2, and 3. But right now, the youngest of Star Wars fans would probably most likely be a Baby Yoda or Mandalorian enjoyer. It's the most recent Star Wars thing there's been. It's the biggest deal, most recent Star Wars thing there's been. They have this Disney Plus era of Star Wars. This Mandalorian and Grogu and, Ahsoka. This is their Star Wars. So now, keeping that in mind, if John Lego came to you and he said,
Hey, we've been working on this technology for 10 years, and we really want it to revolutionize the way that kids are playing with our product, because kids are our main audience, and we love making decisions to cater towards kids, and we're constantly choosing things in favor of our consumers that are kids versus the adult collectors, and we love kids so much. I love kids.
I love kids!
Pim, I would really not be screaming that at the top of your lungs.
what kind of Star Wars sets do you think we should make to launch this new technology of play? Did you say do a whole wave of original trilogy shit? Kids would love that? Is that what you said? Okay. Are you a fucking moron? It baffles me to no end why these aren't fucking Baby Yoda in every fucking box, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, fucking r/nice guys, Book of Boba Fett bullshit. I swear to God, when Galaxy's Edge opened at Disney in like 2019, and it was all sequel themed, and everybody was like, "Why the fuck is this sequel themed? Who cares about Disney era Star Wars lore? Why the fuck isn't this original trilogy? This should be original trilogy." And since then, Disney and Lego must have been just trying to decipher and figure out what that meant. Why we all said that. Everything should be original trilogy now? Okay, it's all original trilogy. It's a great idea. That's what you guys want, right? That's what you're saying? That's what you want? How can you be worth $8 billion and not understand the difference between your audiences and what, like, different products you're making for them? How can you not tell the difference between a middle-aged man-child with a large disposable income that wants to live out his Star Wars fucking live-action role-play wet dream by coming to your amusement park and understand that he wants to go to Tatooine and, see a fucking bantha and stormtroopers and the Empire and Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and all this shit. That's what that guy wants. And how can you not understand that the little fucking goop iPad-brained baby that you're producing a kid's toy for, because this is a kid's toy, he probably wants some fucking Baby Yoda slop. Now, I have to say, I can't skip the sound aspect of the Smart Brick. Getting back on topic here.
What is that?
The sounds this thing makes. Fuck, that sucks. The sound is the easiest criticism anybody can make about Smart Play right now. When Lego Mario gets a coin, it makes the coin sound from Mario. When Lego Darth Vader breathes, it doesn't make the sound of Darth Vader breathing. In fact, pretty much every sound the Smart Brick makes does that. Every sound the brick makes aren't the actual sounds from Star Wars. A lightsaber or a blaster or Chewbacca roaring or R2-D2 beeping or a TIE fighter flying or a laser cannon firing. All those Star Wars sounds, it doesn't make any of those. Instead, Lego tries to, get as close as they can to these sounds with an approximation, something kind of in the general ballpark of that sound. And a lot of this, it seems like, is limited by the technology being used in the brick. It's not a speaker, it's not playing audio files, it's a synthesizer. I don't really understand what the synthesizer is, but I do understand that I guess it's limited in the kind of sounds it can make. It's not capable of recreating the sound of a TIE fighter flying or Chewie roaring. Okay. So, yeah, I understand that. So why the fuck, in this thing that you've been making for 10 years and are saying, it's our biggest invention since ... ever, why are you using technology that you can't, that's not capable of making the sounds that you're... I feel like a fucking crazy person explaining this. The future of play is here. This is it. This is magic, man. And we're having a conversation about, well, you got to understand that the technology they used, it can't actually do that. So that's not too big a deal. It's not a problem. They're trying the best they can. Maybe they should have fucking tried harder when deciding what technology to use that was going to make sound. There are a few good things with the sound. Things like the chiptune Imperial March that plays for Darth Vader or the Cantina Band song. Those are fun and seem fitting, and I like them a lot. It feels in line with the kind of off-kilter, quirky identity that Lego Star Wars is. It's not quite Star Wars. It's Lego Star Wars, and there's some goofy stuff about it. I would even go as far to say that extends to the talking. Is it weird that Lego Darth Vader goes... Yeah. But wouldn't it be really weird if he sounded exactly like James Earl Jones? I think it'd be just as bizarre as some people are saying this gibberish talk is. Lego minifigures are a chibi caricature of something real. It makes sense to me that the way they talk would also be cartoonified and weird and cute, just like they are. It doesn't look exactly like Darth Vader looks in the movie, so why would he sound just like that? He should sound like the kind of Darth Vader that he looks like. And he looks like a weird, little blocky, stubby, fucking cute Darth Vader. I think this is why the mumbling from the Lego Star Wars games is talked about so fondly and so iconic. I think if they fine-tuned this mumbly, gibberish language that the smart figs are speaking, it could fit and it could be good. But besides the voices, the rest of the sounds, to me, it's pretty unforgivable. It makes me think of how you'll hear people talk about how in Batman stories, Gotham City is like almost a character itself, just as much as the Joker or Batman are. I think some of that is kind of true with Star Wars and its relationship with sound. Sound in Star Wars is just as vivid a character, it feels like, as anything else. It's very distinct. It's very unique. It's instantly recognizable. And if you get that wrong when you're adapting Star Wars into something, it really sticks out, and it really makes it feel wrong and makes it feel not like Star Wars. The last thing I really want to touch on is the money problem with this, and how I explained it to my mother is how I'll explain it to you. Is the cheapest way to get the smart brick is to buy the $70 Vader's TIE Fighter. The cheapest set in the wave is a $40 Luke's Landspeeder, but that doesn't come with a smart brick. If you want to play with that Landspeeder and use it to the fullest potential that the designer intended, that the designer compromised your build and made it look ugly for, you have to go buy that Vader's TIE Fighter. So is it really a $40 Smart Play Luke's Landspeeder? Or is it more of a $110 Smart Play Luke's Landspeeder? And really it's just kind of a $40 really ugly, shitty, incomplete Landspeeder. Did you catch that? I forgot what a Landspeeder was called 3 times there, and had to spend seconds trying to find it 3 times in a row. That's not good. I need a fucking smart brick in my brain. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg with the buddy thing. The more you look at the pricing and what's included where with this first initial wave of smart brick stuff, it just keeps looking greedier and greedier on Lego's part. So, did I actually learn my lesson with Nintendo Labo? Or did I ignore it completely and waste another $70 on a gimmicky product? Well, as they say, you win some, you lose some. Here's how I won. Lego did not give me this set early to review. Shocker, right? In fact, Lego hasn't even given this set or any of the Smart Play sets to their Lego ambassadors early to review. It's unclear why they don't have these yet, because it's pretty standard practice for Lego to give product to their influencers on payroll very early, so they have ample time to build it and to prepare these reviews and reels and all this content that can, be put up well before the set even comes out. So, the consumer is bombarded with all these thoughts and opinions from an individual that are definitely not influenced by, the free product they got or the money they got or the free vacations that they got. This is their thoughts. But for some reason, that didn't happen with Smart Play. In fact, I have it on good faith that as of the recording of this, Lego just put the sets in the mail yesterday, 2 days before the official release. So LAN members they're probably getting them delivered maybe right now if they got overnighted. They don't have a lot of time to put something together here. And ignoring how strange that is, ignoring how if you were Lego and you were working on this thing for 10 years and heralding it as the future of play and your next big thing that you really want to be a big hit, wouldn't you really want to have it down pat, the way your influencers are going to talk about this and the way it's going to be portrayed in the media? Wouldn't you want to have as much control over that as possible instead of, just leaving it out there for, I don't know, maybe one of your like greatest enemies to completely control the narrative and have the most publicly viewed opinions about your product. It's kind of weird, right? I don't know. I'm not Brian from Man Doctor Productions. I can't, pay Sicarios to go to Mexico and steal me cool product. How did I get this? I'll tell you, I just went to fucking Walmart and bought it. Stores put out sets early all the time. Maybe in their system, the street date is on there. It says you can't sell this product till March 1st. The only thing you need to get around that is like a high schooler that works at Walmart part-time and has his AirPods in his entire shift, who, when that happens on your self-checkout, he just comes over and puts his employee code in and walks away and lets you buy it. I think Lego's paid influencers, they might not know that because, frankly, they don't have to know that. They're used to getting this stuff, spoon-fed to them directly months and months before release on their doorstep. They never even have to step outside their house. Why would they need to go to a store and spend their money on it? But you know what? Not this time. This time, a ban review is going out before a LAN review. We did it, guys. It might have happened with the worst possible product it could happen for, but we did it. We beat LAN to the punch. I still pretty much lose in the end. I gave Lego $70 for some shit that I didn't like. And the only difference between this and the cardboard I bought from Nintendo was that this time, I pretty much all but knew I wasn't going to like this and this was going to suck. Don't buy Smart Play.